So who is Cameron David? So I was born in London, Ontario, and my dad loved hockey. And so therefore, so did I. I'm actually named after one of the most popular Boston Bruins players of all time, Cam Neely, who ironically was traded by the Vancouver Canucks. Sorry, everyone. My dad would often take my brother and I skating. And so there I was, skating clockwise, Backstreet Boys playing from the rafters, coming in for my final lap. My heart was beating quickly because I wanted to show my dad how fast I could go on my final lap. I skated in and walked off the ice, and there was my dad and brother standing there waiting for me. My dad was holding a box of Timbits, and I was excited. I got myself changed, and we made our way to the car. By the time it was my turn to have some Timbits, my brother already ate all of the chocolate ones again. We drove home so that my dad could get ready for baseball, and I didn't know it yet, but this evening was going to change my life forever and help shape who I am in front of you today. My dad loved playing baseball. However, he wasn't a super proactive person when it came to his health. He often put off his medical checkups. He smoked, he drank, and he was quite an angry person from my memory. He played the game and even scored a home run that night. My dad met up with his friend Bill, who was driving home with him. They got into the car and turned onto the highway and set off for home. They were cruising down the highway when all of a sudden it happened. My dad's foot went heavy on the gas and started to beeline straight towards oncoming traffic. My dad suffered an aortic aneurysm and his heart stopped. Bill, who was sitting next to him, grabbed hold of the wheel and pulled the car into a ditch. He was scared and confused, but my dad, he passed instantly. The car was totaled, and Bill was luckily all right. And my dad had an aortic aneurysm. This event devastated my family. My mom was barely able to cope, and the pain around me was overwhelming. I was 5 years old and forced myself to grow up fast. I took on a guardian role for my mom and my brother. I watched my mom struggle, and I felt her pain every single day. I remember thinking at a really young age that shutting down my own emotions is a better option, so that I felt like I wasn't a burden to my mom and she wasn't in pain anymore. I escaped into video games, and I pretty much got whatever I wanted. My poor mom didn't even have a chance in her mental state. I may be a caring person and an observant son at the time, even at that time too, but when I wanted Pokemon cards or video games, she didn't have a chance. Fast forward to the age of 14, and I was full-blown addicted to online games like World of Warcraft and MapleStory. By the age of 16, I started to notice pain in my body, and I used to play games for 14 hours a day. I spent a lot of time by myself, and I spent a lot of time sitting. So it kind of made sense that I would be in pain, but I thought I'd investigate. I got an X-ray, and I found out that I had 24-degree thoracic scoliosis. Imagine that you're a young kid hearing from the physio that you need to avoid doing certain activities. I felt broken, and I felt limited. I was scared, I was confused, and I was upset. There's a difference, though, between what I heard the physio say to me and what he actually said to me. What he said was I should probably lay off certain exercises and do some corrective exercises and stretches. What I heard him say, though, was I'm screwed for the rest of my life. What I said to myself was what created my sadness. Furthermore, my legs are tanks. My dad blessed me with the David thighs. And the thought of not being able to use them made me feel empty and limited. I numbed myself with video games, hid my own emotions from others. My body and mind were hurting, and something needed to change. This is when I started to develop my superpower and passion for health and fitness. At the age of 16, I channeled my frustration into something positive. I found a lot of joy reading about exercise science, psychology, nutrition, and other related topics. I started to go to the gym and saw the human body kind of like a video game. This is where my journey really began. I became the go-to person in my school for health advice, and I enjoyed it a lot. I started to make connections why my dad had a higher likelihood of passing so young. I learned how to reduce my pain and enhance my function. I turned my struggle into purpose. I developed a passion for helping families live healthy lives together and promote healthy aging. Now let's talk about the real hero in this story, Marley David, my amazing mom and client. She's been with me the entire way and has even evolved her health through the process of me cultivating my passion. My mom was bullied because of her height. She currently, as a 64-year-old woman, she's 5 feet tall. So I'm not sure how tall she was back then exactly when she was bullied, but she always felt inferior and like she wasn't good enough. This resulted in her avoiding exercise. Additionally, she had smoked ever since she was a teenager. She would often skip meals and she just would use coffee and cigarettes to keep the hunger away. However, before long, the hunger amassed to such a force that she binged on unhealthy food, and then subsequently she shamed herself for being weak. Tack on a husband passing and raising 2 kids with little support, and it's a miracle I wound up being a decent human being. She's amazing. Now, fast forward, and I'm 16 and getting into my health journey. By proxy, my mom was learning by osmosis because I would constantly be asking her to cook for me and change our family meals to fit my macros. Finally, at the age of 52, my mom finally started to exercise for the first time. She went to exercise classes, and I supported her to keep at it. She even joked that there was a little Cameron voice in her head saying, "Go, mom, go," whenever she wanted to give up. She even eventually quit smoking and hasn't gone back since. She lives in Penticton, BC, and I still train her online using all of the systems I have developed over the years on the Feel Life app. My mom has a health companion, Diana Cheng, and she's here today during this call. And Diana, I'm grateful for your contribution and everyone who's joined our virtual walking group to help be a part of my story and impact my mom's health. It means a lot to me, and I firmly believe that health is a journey that we do together. We're stronger together. I'm grateful that I have been able to have such an impact on her life, and I am equally grateful for everything that she has gone through and done during such a challenging time with my dad passing to lead me to this moment. On the Feel Life app, my mom has completed 943 workouts and 704 cardio sessions. She has increased her mobility in her joints and does the grouse grind with me on all of my birthdays. She literally told me at one point that she wasn't capable of running because of the pain that she experienced in her joints. And now she runs 3 to 5 days a week. She's increased her bone mass to a point where she came off osteoporosis medication, and she has a healthier relationship with food and is kinder to herself with less shame and guilt. So who do you know that continually shames themselves and says they have been bad on the weekend? Who do you know that has been complaining about their function and is becoming less and less over time? Who do you know that has been complaining about pain in their body and how it limits their ability to do the things that they love? Who do you know who says that they'll take action around their health, but never honors that promise to themselves? Who do you know that waits for perfect moments to take action that never arrive? My mom was that person, and many of my clients experienced a similar start point. Over time, they experience a sense of self-compassion, improved function, reduced pain, and have adopted an always something approach and a good, better, best thinking. To wrap everything up, this is my Fuel Life story, turning struggle into purpose, where my dad passing actually was an extremely positive event in my life, actually. I experienced pain in my body, and it was also extremely positive. I found my superpower for health and fitness, and I've built my mom into a juggernaut just before she retires. I've learned over time that I can impact the context of health within one family member, and I can change the course of that family's dynamic forever. This is what we call passing on a legacy of health. And it's something that is really important to me. If you look at the Fuel Life logo, it's both a flame and a hand. And it's really significant in its meaning to me. It's passing on a legacy of health, passing on the torch. Thank you, everyone.